Hi, and welcome to episode 3 of the Kitchen Chat. I'm Jessica Patay, founder and president of We Are Brave Together, a community of special needs moms who are caring for children with all kinds of diagnoses and challenges and disabilities. And today we have Ryane Nicole Granados with us today, and our topic is the mom guilt. So I'm going to let Ryane say hello and introduce herself.
Hi, as Jessica shared, my name is Ryane, and I'm a mom of 4 boys. My boys range in ages from preschoolers all the way to young adults. I'm a mom of a blended family, and I do have one son who's 11 years old, and he was born with a rare condition that affected the vision in his left eye.
And then tell us about, also, you just had a recent change in life, and
Yes.
you have some...
So for the bulk of my parenting journey, I have been a full-time English professor, essentially for the last 16 years. And over the last 6 months, we resolved, as I try to juggle and negotiate all of these kids in different chapters of their lives, that I would try my stab at staying at home. And it's been a mixed experience. In some respects, I'm so happy that our family has been able to create an opportunity for me to share space and stay and be more present with my kids as best I can. But on other days, I discovered that being an English professor was a lot easier than being a stay-at-home mom. So I'm definitely someone who could speak to the mom guilt associated with juggling the demands of a career, and also the mom guilt associated with staying at home.
And I've been a stay-at-home mostly for 18 years. Did a couple of years in sales a few years ago. And then, of course, now with We Are Brave Together, I'm juggling. But I certainly understand all the guilt that goes along with just when you're at home full-time. I think it's universal.
Definitely.
And there's an added layer when you're a special needs mom caring for a child with extra needs and extra appointments, and so much energy and attention and emotion is devoted to that child. And so when I did a little poll, and when Ryane and I talked about this and prepared for this, we came up with a list that's very common. What we hear, I'm sure some of these are for moms who don't have any special needs kids as well. But some of the things that we have heard and what we know ourselves, certainly being a working mom, feeling like you're missing out on certain milestones or school performances or what have you.
Or being a stay-at-home mom and feeling like there are dreams and career goals that you would love to pursue but can't, and trying to negotiate maybe any feelings of guilt or resentment associated with that as well. So I think both of those work. And then also relinquishing control. We have a need sometimes as moms to be in control of, quite honestly, some things that are well outside of our control, especially if your child is born with some sort of medical challenge.
Yes.
And so relinquishing control, maybe even to other caregivers so you can take care of yourself.
Yes, I know that's absolutely hard for moms, and I'm a huge proponent of just try, take steps, because we do need those breaks, but it's hard. I would say another area I have certainly battled with is worrying about my other 2 kids, Luke and Kate, who are the typical siblings in the family. For one, I feel like I'm not as fun as I would be. Otherwise, if our story were different, that I'm tense or I'm stressed out, and certainly wonder about the impact that our story with Ryane, my son Ryane, has on the 2 of them. And what are they going to talk about in therapy someday?
Because they're all going to therapy someday.
We're all saving for therapy, right, Ryane?
I can't concur enough. I mean, again, because the age gaps are so large in my family, none of the kids are competing for kind of the same time or same experiences.
Nice. Yes.
But what I notice I do a lot is when my youngest son, my 4-year-old, he hits a milestone of some sort, instead of being present in the moment of acknowledging that milestone, I think about what I missed with my now 11-year-old.
Oh.
Those early stages for my son were spent in and out of hospitals and eye surgeries and therapies. And I sometimes feel like I didn't just focus on the basic things, like, oh, he walked today, or oh, he did certain things. And actually, I take that back. His walking and some of those unexpected milestones were almost even a greater joy because we didn't know what to anticipate because of the medical challenges. Sure. But then lots of other just typical things that kids do, it feels like a blur for him. And now when my 4-year-old does it, I'm both amazed and in awe, but then I have this part of my heart that tugs back to that area that I missed with his now 11-year-old brother. Yes. And I wish that I didn't engage in those comparisons, that I just could allow each kid to grow and evolve as they needed to, especially because I have that dynamic, which I think for some is hard when you have kids with different age gaps, but in some respects, each kid is its own kind of journey and they're having their own identity, but my own mom guilt steps in the way of that. So that's something I know I definitely struggle with.
Sure. And I would say that we talked about this, just when you do compare between the siblings, it's a natural thing to compare milestones and what they can and can't do, some of the, independence that my others can do and Ryan will never be able to do. And then you feel this grief associated with that, and then you feel guilty that you're grieving. Yes, that's another, we could have done a rabbit trail with that,
we will,
and we probably will. I certainly have heard this from moms, just how exhausted they are, and they wish they had more energy for everybody, including their spouse or their partner. And certainly losing patience with your kids, just because there's a level of stress, there's a level of ache that we live with as special needs moms. And certainly I feel really horrible when I lose my patience with Ryan. I should have more patience. I place the should on myself. Yes. I shouldn't yell at him ever, even if he's asked me 1,000 questions in 10 minutes. So there's that guilt.
Definitely. I too lose patience. I too am exhausted. And I struggle with this feeling of how do I reconcile the expectations of the home and my role as a wife, my role as a writer as well, because that's something that I do, my role as a mom. And then for me, a successful day is that I've organized all the tutors, I've organized all of the doctor's appointments, I've negotiated, play dates and homework and again, the various stages of my kids.
Sure.
But I didn't get all the laundry put away. And so I begin to struggle with, I'm failing with the kind of the infrastructure of my home, but I've organized some things that in many ways other moms don't contend with. And I don't really celebrate that aspect of myself.
But you can pat yourself on the back. There's a lot that you have to negotiate.
Yes.
And manage that a typical mom.
And then I again lose patience with them, with myself, with my spouse. And then not being able to give the time that I think everyone deserves.
Another area that I hear moms talk about guilt is about taking breaks.
Yes.
That could be its own kitchen chat. We might have to save that, but I am such a huge proponent. I'm a huge proponent of breaks in some way, shape, or form, whether you swap with another mom, if that is the only way, hire a sitter, use your respite through a regional center, take a chance on that. We've had to do that, and we've had really good luck, really wonderful people, but then there's also guilt associated with not taking care of yourself.
And not doing the things you need to do. And in order to get those breaks, we have to go all the way back to the issue of relinquishing control. This idea that nobody can handle this or juggle this in the same way that I do, and therefore I'm not going to relinquish that control. Self-care is huge. I think it contributed to the decision for me to come off of my job almost as much as my need to be the type of mother and the type of me that I wanted to be. I was so exhausted that I was in and out of various doctor's appointments for about a year. Convinced that I had a myriad of autoimmune conditions or something. My doctor was so amazing and thorough, was testing me for everything under the sun. Then eventually she hands me a piece of paper with a series of maybe 10, 15 questions on it. And one of them was about kind of sleep patterns and diet and things like that. And we had ascertained that I had not had more than 4 hours of sleep a night in 11 years.
Wow.
So I was diagnosed with exhaustion.
Wow.
Sheer exhaustion.
You're like, can I have a fancy diagnosis?
Yeah,
really?
like, and after we've ruled out all of these rare conditions, I'm diagnosed with exhaustion because the moment at about 4 months of age, when Joshua was given his diagnosis, I became committed and even felt, I'm purposed to do this because I'm an English professor, I'm very well read, I will read everything under the sun about optic nerves. People are convinced that I have a degree in neurological ophthalmology, and I'm always shocked when I say things like, no, I'm just a mom, and I probably should remove the just a mom because I'm purposed to be an expert in his diagnosis. And I began to pride myself on that, but I never bothered to factor in my own self-care. So relinquishing control, going to sleep, taking a nap, it's okay. And that's what I'm, trying to commit myself to do.
Good. So good. So important.
And I'm glad that you support that and have been doing it, because then you can text me and remind me.
Okay, good. I will.
Take a break.
Let's meet for a walk. We'll meet in the middle.
Exactly.